On behalf of Expert Village, my name's Tom Rowland, and we're at Cottonwood Motorsports, and I'm here to tell you about doing a service on a Polaris quad, and this is fairly representative of many of them. The radiator on a Polaris, on the units with the box on the front, have the radiator cap is underneath the front, and it's underneath this inspection cover here. And the radiator cap, you want to take the cap off when the motor's cool. You don't ever want to do it when it's hot. And you take the radiator cap off and you inspect the fluid, and it should be nice and clean, and it shouldn't be dirty looking or anything. Or on units with higher mileage, on a 100-hour service, they need to have the coolant changed on them. You also want to check for leaks at the water pump and all the hoses to make sure that you're not losing any water anywhere. If the radiator is full all the way to the bottom of the cap and the inside of the cap looks like it's doing its job and then all the rubber parts are in good shape, then you're probably all right. You can probably just carefully wipe it off and then put it back on again. But on units that have more time on them, the radiator caps actually degrade over time, and they don't hold their pressure as good as they are supposed to. And one common complaint is that people say that the bike's overheating and it's losing water, and it's not actually overheating. It's just that the cap doesn't have the ability to hold the pressure in that it's supposed to at the normal operating temperatures. Also, one other thing on this particular model, the access plug to hook up the computer to diagnose fuel injection issues is underneath this cover also. So to diagnose those, you would go under this cover to plug in our computer. I'll talk a little bit about that a little later. But in relationship to the coolant, any water that gets past this cap goes down this clear hose here, and it goes to the coolant reservoir. And as water gets hot, it expands. It doesn't compress, it just expands. And it's normal for water to expand out of this tank due to expansion, and it goes into the expansion tank, and I'll point that out in a minute. But as the motor cools down and as the radiator cools down, the water contracts, and it's supposed to go, the cap allows the water to go back through the radiator, back into the radiator, so that it fills it back up again. So this is always supposed to be filled all the way to the top. On units without an expansion tank, the water would always appear a little low because it'll always push some water out. But on these, they're supposed to be always full to the top. And the expansion tank isn't supposed to have any leaks, and it's checked when it's hot and when it's cold. There's lines on it usually. It says this is the level when it's hot and this is the level when it's cold, and we'll point that out now.